Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So this picture is up on the screen for a couple of reasons. One, I just thought this picture was really cool. I think this is a really dope shot of Blabber with the, in the crowd with the seats empty, kind of just going over what a lot of us have been, seeing throughout COVID and the pandemic and stuff, like the empty crowds, the empty seats, empty stadiums. But also, I think it's a really cool shot of Blabber, like kind of looking on with no one around him, maybe like feeling alone, feeling the pressure, feeling like he needs to rise up, feeling like there's nobody around him, and like the spotlight is on him, the pressure is on him, and it's time for him to perform. Obviously, Cloud9, Blabber, they've had a weird year. They've had a weird 2 years at this point now. And in this video today, I want to talk about what the rest of this playoffs means for Blabber, what the rest of this playoffs means for Cloud9, and what it could mean for their futures as well. And really, I think it could mean a lot, and I think there is so much interesting nuance to this discussion. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm, where you can get the VODs for my podcast, Beyond the Rift with I Am Germ, which is also live streamed every single Monday here on YouTube. With that being said, here we go, getting right into this. So, Mr. Blabber has had a crazy couple of years. Spring 2020, he is the MVP. He wins a championship with Cloud9. They don't get to go to MSI, but people talk about them as maybe one of the best LCS teams of all time. I really disagree with that, but there are some people who will say that, and they are a big what if in the history of League of Legends. How would that team have done at MSI 2020? I don't think that good, but it's a what if, it's a question. Your opinion can be different as well. Then into Summer Split, they really struggled in Summer Split. They really struggled in the Summer Playoffs. They did not qualify for Worlds. That was crazy. It was this crazy collapse, crazy downfall. They were on like some insane win streak. They were like 21-1 or 22-1 or 23-1, something like that, dating back to Spring Split. And then to just fall off so hard, so fast. It wasn't only Blabber, but Blabber was a big part of it. Again, he was the best player in the LCS in spring of 2020, and then to be just pedestrian, not only in terms of players in the LCS, but in terms of even just junglers in the LCS, was just a far drop. And some people called it a fluke, some people called it a choke job, some people just kind of started labeling these Cloud9 players as chokers, but it was just one split. That stuff happens. They came back and they made a statement in the spring split of 2021. Once again, Blabber is the MVP. Once again, Cloud9 is able to win a championship. Now, this one I think has a little bit more of an asterisk by it. I really think this is one of the weakest splits the LCS has ever seen. There was a lot of teams that were just not very good. And then also, Cloud9 ends up beating Team Liquid in the finals 3-2 with Armeo in the jungle. It was obviously a very close series. We'll never know what would have happened if Santorin played. Obviously, it's just hypotheticals. We can't go into that too much. Cloud9 did win. And, another championship for Cloud9, another MVP for Blabber. He's kind of back. They rebounded from all the choking. They proved that once again, Blabber can be an amazing player. They can be champions. And now they're poised to go to MSI with their multi-million-dollar man in the mid lane perks and their MVP Blabber. They were going to have a mid-jung duo that could compete with some of the best teams in the world. And their slow descent, their choking, their underperforming, whatever you want to call it, started at MSI. The Cloud9 team that we didn't get to see last year, we finally get to see at MSI. They had some good performances, but overall they went, 3-7 in the group stage. They did not make it to the top 4, and then they started out slow in the Summer Split. Some people called it MSI hangover, whatever you want to call it. It carried very far into the Summer Split. It was one bad hangover that we might still be feeling some ramifications and effects of, where then it ultimately leads with them finishing 4th overall in the season, despite having a great head start going into the Summer Split. And then finally with them losing 3-1 to Team Liquid in the last round of this playoffs. And now Cloud9 and Blabber once again have this pressure on them. Once again have the weight of their performances, their past performances, their MVP performances, their championships in the spring weighing on them in the Summer Split. So much is on the line. I mean, if we take a look at I have the Summer Split playoffs bracket right here. Cloud9 is in a tough spot. They need to beat Golden Guardians, which I think should be easy. Yes, Golden Guardians are a little bit better in the Summer Split, especially towards the end, especially once they got Licorice. Ablaze Olive's been decent. They've been solid, but Cloud9 should beat them pretty handily. I think it'll be a 3-0. But then they're going to face the loser of 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses. two very good teams. Two teams that finished the whole season with a better record than Cloud9. Two teams that finished the summer split with a better record than Cloud9. Now, I think Cloud9 at their best are better than both of these teams, but I also don't think we're seeing Cloud9 at their best right now. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's really going to depend on the performances of Blabber and Perks. Then, if they do find a way to win that game, then it is expected that they will have to beat the loser of TSM and Team Liquid, which either is the team with the #1 record throughout the entire regular season of the LCS, TSM, or the team that just beat them 3-1 in Team Liquid. Either way, it is going to be a very, very difficult, very, very hard road for Cloud9 and for Mr. Blabber. And I think, and this is what this whole video is about, that if Blabber and Cloud9 come up short again, if they are not only a part of one of the biggest collapses in LCS history in 2020, if they are then on, the forefront of not as equally big of a collapse. I still think 2020 was bigger, but just as big of a collapse coming back from MSI after winning a championship, after winning an MVP. Blabber got third team all LCS, but I think it was very, very debatable. I think it was a little bit controversial, and that was without Santorin playing in the regular season either. So I think right now there's a real argument to be made that in summer, Blabber is the 4th, 5th best jungler in the LCS. If they don't pull off this miracle run, if they don't rattle off 3 more series wins in a row, I think there's a real possibility and a real chance that this could be Blabber's last run, his last ride, his last chance, his last opportunity in the jungle with Cloud9. This is a team that just spent upwards of 11, 12, $13 million in this past offseason. They are not dropping all that money to not go to Worlds, to not even, make deep playoff runs. Yes, they want to win championships, and that's great in the spring, but if Blabber is a part of this kind of collapse 2 years in a row where he is super high highs and super low lows, and he hasn't really shown that great of synergy with Perks, who is now their franchise player for the next 2 more years after this one. He is kind of their franchise player. He is that piece that they're building around. They really haven't shown a ton of synergy. They haven't shown the ability to play too well together. I think they could move on from Blabber, which is a little bit crazy, which does, sound wild, but there are going to be other options out there. There are going to be, a free agent self-made. There's going to be Yankos that they can maybe try and get from G2. There is going to be a free agent Santorin that they can maybe try and get from Cloud9. There is going to be, or from Team Liquid. There is going to be different options and stuff out there. I don't know where Blabber would end up, and we can maybe talk about that in a future video, but I think all of a sudden, this picture, this seat of Blabber by himself in the stands, nobody around him, the spotlight on him, I think is a really accurate representation of what we're about to see in the playoffs. And either Blabber and Cloud9 are going to rise up to expectations, prove that the first round of the playoffs against Team Liquid was just a fluke. It's double elimination. They're still alive. They can still make a run, and they're going to go to Worlds and maybe have an awesome performance, or they're going to flop in the playoffs as one of the most expensive rosters in the entire LCS, some of the most star-studded lineups and rosters. Blabber, Perks, Sven. This team is loaded with veteran and just insane talent, and to not make it to Worlds would be an absolute disappointment. And when you have back-to-back massive disappointments, changes have to be made, and the League of Legends world and rosters and teams move fast. And yes, Blabber has been on top of the world, but Cloud9 has moved on from an MVP player before, and I think they might be about to do it again if Cloud9 doesn't make a run in the playoffs, like I really don't expect them to do. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I'd appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think is going to happen with Cloud9 and Blabber? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.